Here we have the Dell Inspiron 9100 laptop computer. It was released in 2004 with the price tag minimum of $2,500 or maximum, as this one is configured, of approximately $3,500. Could even be configured to be more expensive later on if you were to upgrade the processor, but that was an aftermarket option as far as I was able to find. This particular one is, as I said, one of the higher end models with a 2.8 gigahertz Pentium 4 processor and what I understand to be the full-fledged desktop version of the processor. There it goes. 2 gigs of RAM, 2 gigs of DDR RAM, and that is the maximum it can take, as well as a 160 gigabyte. There's a 40 gig partition and a 110, so that is a 160. I'll plug this in so it's a little bit brighter. Much better. 160 gig IDE drive, which is interesting. I've never seen one of those before. This does have a working battery. You can see 95% remaining. I had it on for about 10 minutes idling. So for an 11-year-old laptop that's powered by a desktop, basically, that is powered by a battery, I'd say that's pretty cool. This also has a ATI Radeon Mobility 9700, which is a 128 megabyte graphics card. This actually has an external or an internal graphics card. Could be configured with either 64 or 128 megs of RAM. And this also has a whopping 1280 by 800 pixel screen resolution, which is pretty cool given the time period. I do use this laptop occasionally. As you can see, I've got VirtualBox, I've got Steam and Skype and Visual Studio on there as well. It works very well for what I need it for, so I keep it around. It's quite the performer, given its age and its overall chunkiness. This laptop, by the way, weighs 9.5 pounds, and with the power adapter, it probably weighs about 12 pounds. That is a pretty huge power adapter as well. 7.7 amp. 19.5 volt power adapter. And I happen to have two of these, so I'm going to use this one to demonstrate what the inside of it looks like. Also, before I go on with that, you can see the gray or silver exterior of this one, and this has a rather gross looking red wood trim piece on the top. I don't know what that would be called, but it's kind of odd. So here's the bottom of the laptop. This is, of course, the back. So you've got two exhaust fans, one on either side, one for the CPU, and I assume the other one for the graphics card. Both of these fans are removable. I guess you could call this modular. Here's one of the fans. It has an audio board over the top of it because that audio, the side audio ports connect up right there to that connector. There is up to 2 gigs of RAM. This one currently has 512 megabytes of DDR, configured with wireless G card in there. That was standard from the factory. And there's another fan that sits in here. Again, very chunky fans, very powerful and reliable, I suppose. And that, I don't know, sits in there in some way and blows out there. Pretty cool. And there's the hard drive, which this particular one is a 40, but as I said, it was configured up to 120 gigabytes. And this, I'm going to have to set the camera down for this one. This is a battery, but not only is it a battery, it is also a subwoofer. So here's the massive 95 watt-hour battery. It's huge. It's dead, unfortunately, but you can see right there, it has a subwoofer built into it. And there's a little port for the subwoofer right there. So that is pretty neat. I guess you do need a battery that big if you're powering what is essentially a desktop replacement / gaming laptop. On the back, there's a, I assume, out or intake for the air. I don't know, something to do with the air. There's your charging port. It has a lot of options for video out. There's S-Video, VGA, and it actually features a DVI, which is something I haven't seen on very many laptops, especially around this age, this era, the 2004 era. I know a lot of the MacBooks from around 2006 featured a DVI port, but haven't really seen too many of those on Windows laptops. Has an onboard modem, built-in Ethernet, 4 USB ports. One of these is a, I guess, charging plus USB port. Not really sure what the function of it is, but there is a USB on the bottom and some kind of odd port on there that I've never actually seen. Configured from the factory with a DVD-ROM drive, as well as built-in FireWire, built-in infrared, 2 stereo speakers that sound incredible. They're a little bit tinny, but they sound very loud, very clear. Excuse me, very nice in general. So, that is the outside and I guess somewhat of the inside of the laptop. So we'll go over here and, I don't know, just I guess play a couple sounds to demonstrate the audio on this thing. I'm going to turn the sound all the way up using the button right there. Go over to sound and I don't know, we'll play a bunch of sounds. I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'm not even going to bother to play music. Wow, that was cool, wasn't it? Default beep. Alright, let's find the Windows sounds here. Exit Windows. I suppose this isn't the best way to demonstrate how good the sound quality on this is and how loud it is, especially with the subwoofer. It's incredibly loud. Yeah, so I guess I don't have a good way to demonstrate it. I would play a CD, but again, I don't want to get a copyright strike. But trust me, these things are loud. They are almost as loud as the speakers that are built into the iMac, and those are much larger and probably much more powerful, in theory. So, that is the Dell Inspiron 9100 laptop computer. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I will answer them as soon as I can. As always, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.